Hello everybody, my name is Prince Boss, and welcome back to the great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, we continued our case after our great and, well, something. Yeah, I forgot what it was called. Oh yeah, the summation examination. We also brought out the witnesses again and did more cross-examination, and found out that the mysterious person on the other side of the sea could have been our great defendant, Magnus McGilded. However, before we were able to get a testimony out of him, well, yeah. It seems that he got away. Presumably, of course. We don't know. So, let's get started by, doing another video today. My throat is going to kill me. I'm sorry for the voices, by the way. I can't seem to get them right. I got them pretty steady back in Japan and on the ship, but just here is hard to do. I'm sorry. So let's get started with the Adventure of the Runaway Room Trial Part 3 in 3, 2, 1. February 18th, 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant, antechamber. What on earth just happened in there?
Mr. Naruhodo, I managed to find out what happened.
Mr. Sato.
I was told that it was an advanced form of a smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke.
A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use.
They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long.
But who would have done something like that?
The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently.
Flee the courtroom? Why?
Well, it was a young girl of around 15, I hear.
A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was talking about?
My thoughts exactly.
So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here.
I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl.
Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself?
There's another matter that's troubling me.
What's that?
20 pence.
Oh,
According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly.
But now it seems that there were 5 passengers.
Which means the figures don't seem to add up again.
She's right. That is strange.
Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed to the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you, officer. We'll get in straight away.
Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial.
We'll know soon enough, Mr. Sato.
Yes.
I wonder if it's going to be someone that we know. Maybe... No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Oh, okay, so it's not who we know. Got it. Oh, hello. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must be the one who caused the disturbance before.
Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Sykes.
My lord.
I believe you have established the cause of smoke which veiled proceedings earlier.
Seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade. The sort typically employed by the army.
Good gracious! The army! What in the devil's name?
It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. And now occupies the stand.
Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in the courtroom? What is the meaning of this horrible behavior? Him, if I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGill. I think perhaps I ought to explain here, as she knew. Why is it that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that? It's all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGill. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case.
Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Alright, Mr. McGilded. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and properly nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, eyeing her wee self away. Hiding.
I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. Well, from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct?
Just exactly as the defense counsel said.
The lass was the fifth passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Well, I do. Young girl. Night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and probably nodded off. Alright.
Hold it!
Hold it! And when you first got into the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There was not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passenger, as it were. I see. And that's when I took the backside, I did. Just the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means, just how you already described it earlier. Talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman was sitting. Like I said, just the most comfortable, where I feel the most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Loud thud, we scream.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say? And a scream.
Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise.
So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed?
Well, now, you ought to remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me, I opened my eyes. There wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor.
You didn't see anyone. But at the same moment, you did hear a scream.
The sheets above you on the roof deck, I presume? Not above me, no, my lord. Just from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether taken about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before me eyes.
There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Why?
Hold it!
You sat him up? The victim, you mean?
That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said. You could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? It's just common courtesy, so it is.
I find that a little hard to believe.
Aye. Our Lord defend sakes. Why would that be?
You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in the carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is.
Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at extortionate rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful of the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle of trouble.
Are you suggesting that you were just going to leave the man there?
Heavens no, alive! Heavens alive, no! I was just intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wheres. Wherefores first.
The whys and wherefores?
Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same?
Yes, the scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find?
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim.
So I did, sir, so I did. And as far as I could see, that is.
What do you mean by that?
Well now, 'tis a queer thing.
Alright.
A wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Good gracious.
Under your backside?
And when I lifted the sheet to which I've been sitting, I found that there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage.
Mr. Nawahodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember?
Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence.
This will be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside.
I already did that, like the first time we got to the bus.
And that's when I found her.
There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding with her wee self away. You say she was hiding herself?
Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lampshade, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, me heart nearly stopped beating in me chest.
Ugh, you're really overacting this.
Still and all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chinwag with her.
The seat opposite?
That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there. You shot this young girl next to a corpse, sir. Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in moral danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was middle talking with him, I heard another scream, a fella's voice this time.
Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats.
Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGildy. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason. Aye, my lord. I was, as I take everyone understands now, that sat in the back of the carriage out of sight.
It's really hard to keep this Irish accent going.
It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and rarely confused perhaps with this young girl. After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you. I've heard enough. The events, as explained, are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, heard across among larger crowds, relieving people of their purses. What commonly is called a pickpocket.
What?
This girl here, a petty thief? Order! Order! This is true, Miss Lestrade. Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Ah! How dare you! What is the meaning of this? Ah! The girl! She's gone! Open your eyes! I'm over here. Good gracious! How?
What was the point in that little sidestep?
I know what your lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gin. Go on! That's what your head's at, isn't it?
No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast.
Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need are for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do.
Let me guess. You don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs?
Oh, these? Yeah, it was in the bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, ain't it? I like the pink bells. Ah, don't wave that thing in my direction again.
I like how Van Zykes is doing absolutely nothing about this. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question?
It's alright, lass. You can tell him the truth now. Alright, yeah. Just like the Irishman said. The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. Alright, if I have to.
Witness testimony. What the girl saw.
So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always.
Hiccups.
But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. I tell ya, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then, after a while, I hear a loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin, and I did. And the scream just came out. It's because of that this swell found me. It did help me get away, mind.
Yes, he let you go.
I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact.
How?
As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place when she was hanging herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I was sitting that night. And the cubbyhole of which you have spoken is underneath the seat, I presume? Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there. Because I parked myself on the seat for the duration. Ah! So you see, that's why I left the last boat. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your actions will result in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord. Not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman. My lord, this fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir.
Innocence! Yes! Come on!
With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time.
Innocent! Yes! Everyone says innocent!
Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensually in the learning of a verdict of not guilty?
Yes, Naruhodo, this... Oh, it must mean
It must mean what?
that we're victorious.
I don't think so. Because he gets a summation examination, doesn't he? It only makes sense. We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
Oh, here we go. Oh, he's upset.
If this side of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray do forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices, where evidence and reasoning should be paramount. Emotion rules the day.
Emotion.
The witness's last statement gives us a clearer insight into his true nature.
What do you mean, his true nature?
Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good Lord! The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilden's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat.
What? This is getting insane.
Order! Order! How could such a devious
Contravance?
Devious contrivance possibly have been effected, Counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nepalese friend?
Yeah, it wasn't. Me?
When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be?
It was full.
Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear up this in a jiffy.
Sorry.
Go ahead, you tell the court now, fella. Whether this all in an elaborate excuse for this... How this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zykes? Well, Counsel, do you have something to say on this matter?
Uh-oh. I can't lie.
How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus?
It wasn't empty. I have to tell the truth. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my counsel for the defense. But as far as I remember, at least. When I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there was a number of articles inside it, yes.
Are you sure, Counsel? I'd be whist.
What are you saying now, you daft doll? I thought you were on my side here. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? I'm telling the truth. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state the facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Interesting. 'Tis not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interests here, lad. Now then. A fella's memory is a curious thing, and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. But their cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as a devil's heart. So it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest not to admit that you might have been mistaken? No, I'm not mistaken. I know it's there. Alright, I'm gonna take another look. I promise you it's there. Now let's open the door and go inside. They're horrible. I know for a fact. Oh, there was blood on the floor. I didn't see that. Okay. What the fuck? What the fuck? This is a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. No, I know for a absolute fact that I saw something in here that first time around. Something's up. Why do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo was not irresponsible. That money-lending Fleischer and the pick pusher are lying. Ah! I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, the lot of them. What? Oh no. It's a trick! Of course it's a trick! Oh boy. This isn't going well for me. Quite so. I must concur here. Oh boy. This isn't going well. That's automatically 3 on guilty, huh? The scales of justice are balanced again. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clear at the truth every time. Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. No, I know for a fact that there was stuff in there. Something happened. Something happened. I'm so confused. This trial is making me just... Ugh! It's making me question everything. So I snuck inside the carriage before they looked up, just like always. Always. So you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point in spending a jolly and to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, isn't it?
I suppose she means there's no point spending money to make money. It actually makes sense.
How should I remind you that this girl's a petty thief. Can't refrain from entertaining her tenants.
Well, that does clear up a little mystery at the fares and all.
Quarter paying passengers at 5 pence apiece.
Making it 20 to make the cabin man testify. And one little scapegoat riding for free.
The red conch of a driver always goes on some grub before his last run, see? So that's why I slipped into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right?
Your hiding place is a storage compartment. Full of equipment for the coach, you know?
Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chunk it all out, cram it in the corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much.
And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems we've reached the end of that line of Frankfurt. Continue.
Got nothing to show for me troubles that night.
Hold it!
A waste of time? Why is that?
Well, most nights I'm on me own and the God permit at least some time. I beg your pardon. Did you say God permit? Oh yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. Point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while.
And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away.
That's it. Only that night. This cove was sat next to me. Sat on me seat for the start.
I can't read.
And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. You mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded from in the enclosed cabin? Yeah. Right, mister?
To be sure. I was as shocked as anyone.
You don't expect to lift the cushion you sit on and find the child now, do you?
So this Miss Lestrade could possibly be the culprit then. I'll tell you, I can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin as well? At all? Not a jot. Most days I push the cushions up with me head and look out the crack. Then I have a butcher's aunt, who I'm gonna fiddle.
I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher.
I mean, I can have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one's seat. So most of the time, the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head.
And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushions up to peek out, I see.
Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. I feel too much like being thrown in the clink. But it's the only place to hide the cabbages, so it's Hobson's choice.
Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open, then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor.
So anyway, I was a bit scared, and I had to just stick it out under there. Nothing else for it.
Then after a while, I hear this loud bang nearly jump out of me skin, I did, and the scream just came out.
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor?
Would have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump.
And you let out a scream, involuntarily.
That's right. And then I felt the cushion over me head get lighter all of a sudden.
Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes?
Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood up in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and a quick butchers while I had the chance, didn't I? Irishman was sitting up the bloke who had fallen on the floor in the seat opposite. That matches with Mr. McGilden's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I never ever looking. Because of that, the swift found me. It did help me get away, mind.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilden discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place?
I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and sat me on my seat and all.
Next to the victim, Mr. Mason.
Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. The carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling onto me. How awful. Both me and Scott covered in blood. Me and me hands. And it made me feel sick as a dog.
Both her hands were covered in blood. That must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilden for a while. Is that correct?
He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know me name and what I was up to and all that. And then I heard something from above. Someone screamed.
Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume.
Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury have decided the defendant was innocent.
For one brief shining moment, yes.
It's clear that they all are still very unsure. We could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony. I'm sure we would clinch the verdict as we want.
Yes, I think you're right. And I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. So I snuck inside the carriage before they looked up, like always. But it was the right waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. Tell ya, I can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I hear this loud bang, nearly jumped out of my skin, and a scream just came out. Because of that, this swell found me. He did help me get away. Huh. Alright, what evidence do we have? What evidence do we have? We have a knife, pocket, the ledger, gloves, crime scene photo. Guide to hemorrhage, trauma, abdomen, journey. What the hell am I missing? And after a while, I hear this loud bang, nearly jump out of the skin, and the scream just came out. I tell ya, I just can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Shit, I don't know. I really don't know. Let me ask about that hiding place again.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all?
Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look up the crack. Then I have a butcher's fiddle.
I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can't have a look. Seat I get under and plus the other one, see? Most of the time, the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places and feel too much like being thrown.
Well, no.
That's new. That's new.
Excuse me.
What the fuck? Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no, 'twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad, shut up in the dark. 'Twas terrifying, so it was. I see. Yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now.
And I don't know about yourself, but I find the darkness to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does. Maybe. Miss Lestrade, did you hear something that night? Anything? Any unusual noise, perhaps? No. Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Jabbers, there's no need to tell the whole world me forbills, you little scam. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue.
Yes. What should we make of that last statement of hers? Yeah. You should have heard the knocking, right? Is that the thing? It has to be important. My lord, I believe that statement just made by the witness is profoundly important.
Profoundly important. But all she said was that she heard nothing.
Yes, which is profoundly important, which is the profoundly important point. I can't read. I'm almost sure of it.
I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Counsel. Nevertheless, Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating the last statement, please. What? Supplement? What you on about? Don't give me your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. It will work on me.
That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. I'll strain my ears to work out what's going on, but I can hear something. And nothing to show up any troubles. I really don't believe that.
Hold it!
Because this guy's rich. He would give me shit. He doesn't even know who I am. He would never give somebody nothing. He was going to give me a whole bunch of shit. A whole bunch of money. There's no way. Absolutely no way. She has to be the culprit.
Hold it!
No fucking way. The hell? Alright. Alright, what were you trying to listen to? So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time since the moment you hid yourself?
Not exactly, no.
Sorry?
Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushions up and out of a butcher's to see what was what. But then I saw the smoke getting on. It got me head down, so you didn't notice me.
And Mr. McGill sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct?
Yeah. Would you Adam and Eve it? Eh? What a mug. So then all I could do was listen. I was listening, waiting to jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave, see. But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. I just had to stay put and listen to him. Listen to I'm driving his pigs to market, snoring like the old dog he was.
Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? Doesn't add up. Because she would have heard someone else walk in. Miss Lestrade, what have you just told the court? It's clearly at odds with the facts.
At odds? Are you sure, man?
Absolutely.
It seems my learned Nathanese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared.
So Van Sykes realized it too.
Counsel, I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least.
Yes, my lord.
I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court.
According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in that omnibus last night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGill snoring. But think, Ryunosuke, think! Idiot sandwich! Double idiot sandwich. There's something else she should have heard. I'll show a person. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The very sound clearly explained by the presence of the following person. Mason. He was also there.
Take that! Nice fine, Mason.
Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus.
Order! Order! Explain no reasoning, counsel.
Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct?
Yeah, of course I was. I got him while the driver was in the pub, didn't I?
And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGill, did?
As it was. Not a soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight.
So you were, in all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time.
Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on for his own, for sure.
And, from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops on that way on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening and closing at all?
Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, waiting for the swell to leave.
In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Alright. Yes, this petty thief statement is clearly flawed.
Or Van Sykes!
Yes. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. Oh shit. Is that right? How could the victim possibly not have been boarded the omnibus? This makes no sense whatsoever.
And the girl's a pickpocket. Let's not forget that.
Wow, damn, she didn't even give a statement. Shit. She didn't even say anything.
I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she had some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars.
Hey, neither can I.
Mr. Foreman.
I didn't want to judge the girl just because she had some less than salvable-ish ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars.
Damn it. Well, we're back on the, fuck.
It's Naruhodo. That's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty.
God, how much more wine does he have in the glass? Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nepalese friend. For the considerable troubles you have spared me. Oh, now you take a fucking drink. Yes, very refreshing. Ah! Yeah, what are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Amadan? This is carnage. It's perfect. Juror number 2 is the only one left.
Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going...
I know. If we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilded's innocence, the judge will rule, and we'll have lost.
I very much wanted to believe the words of the one London's most respected gentleman. But those of us in service now must accept hard truths.
Again, say the same line.
Hold it!
Don't you fucking dare! Yes, the witness's last statement seemed to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What are you saying? Counsel?
I'm sorry, sir? What do you mean?
Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? Ooh, here we go. There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. He was put there after he died. That's the only possible option, right? No, wait. No. Other entrance. Because the skylight, it could open, right? If the door wasn't open even once, let me check a look real quick. Yeah, see, there's a latch. There's a latch. That thing could be open. If the door wasn't open even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other has windows. Fixed windows, which cannot possibly open. Short. There is no entrance to the cabin other than a door.
Objection!
But there could be. There's only one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes, one other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Alright, Counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is the entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin? This, right here. I hope it's, like, not very... like this, right here. Here we go, present!
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. I shite! The skylight?
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost had me lost for words. However,
Objection!
the skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim. Do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brain theory? Both Mr. McGilded and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which has already been explained. It's the sound of the victim falling from a sheet, having been assaulted with the dagger. Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses described? A loud noise? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact? Oh, good gracious! Perhaps, in fact, that the moment... Oh my god, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but... Right, a humble fella. Make a wee comment here. Mr. McGilded? To be sure now, the two fellas who were sat on the roof now testified before, said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that this is not much of a case of them not saying, but... This is a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas will be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Wouldn't you agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof.
You mean the ones who stuck that knife in the man were?
Ah, so they're blackmailed? Oh, they're back.
Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blither?
Oh god. Hello. You rotter, he said. You rotter. What are you insinuating?
This is a flaming outrage. I've a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute.
He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Mr. Fairplay.
You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker.
And me, a very angry hacker.
Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts.
It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms.
That's right. I protest too. How about you, you rotten scoundrel?
Oh my. Things are getting crazy.
Order, order, order! This is not the time, witnesses.
I will not permit the wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once.
But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous.
It's very hurtful, you know.
My lord, if I may comment.
Go ahead, Lord Van Dyke.
It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof.
Accuse? I never intended to.
It seems, young Nepalese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, it is what is termed a baseless accusation.
Oh. I know I was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought.
What are you wasting time for? Get them to testify.
I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fella. We have to see this matter through, one way or another.
These are filthy rubbish in our midst. We must dispose of it at once.
Oh, God.
What's happening, Miss Naruhodo?
The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy.
Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord. You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony. In reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord.
I didn't come here for this.
Oh, this is all part of Mr. Megilda's plan, isn't it? There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. Refuting the accusation.
We were the only two people, dead or alive, I can swear to that.
If anything had happened when we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us have noticed?
Sorry guys, I am moving around a lot this session. I don't like sitting in one place for too long.
In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man.
The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. They could possibly have opened it.
If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof?
I must say, on listening to that testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine. How either witness could have performed any malevolent act on the roof, on this open rooftop deck, without the other noticing forthwith.
That's right. See?
We're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collusion with one another.
What?
According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings.
Well, I don't trust carpenters any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy?
Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord. Yeah, something just doesn't sit right. Refuting the accusations. We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive, I can swear to that.
Hold it!
So at no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck.
Absolutely not. Stick in.
No question about it. He said, not at all. Oh, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin talking with this man here.
Is that true, Mr. McGilded?
Bitter me, my lord. At the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately.
That's an outright lie. Without doubt, you were engaged in.
Let me stop you there, fella, and ask, do you have any evidence at all? At all?
Ah,
It's all about evidence in courts these days, so it is. You have to remember that.
I saw it with my own eyes.
This is going swell. If anything happened where we were sitting, don't think one of us here would have noticed.
Hold it!
Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus at past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark. Perhaps too dark to see clearly.
Is this some kind of a lark?
Is this some kind of a joke, he said? Is that what this is?
Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly.
Are you fair dinkum, sir?
Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you.
I'd give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bit of cold. If you did manage it, your eyelids were free shut and you never opened them again.
That's extreme.
He was extreme, I tell you. And we had to put up with this man because he had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. That's a lie. I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone.
Now, 'twas a cold night, so it was. People do be saying things that aren't real in the cold. 'Tis hardly surprising.
Saying things.
I believe we have reached an impasse here on this particular point.
You?
Don't take it personal now, lad. If I'm the suspect in this case, then only it's fair that you and the other Finn are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition like it should be involved in, really. In case none of us know first thing about the victim, we had no reason to kill the man.
Hold it!
Oh, really? So, you had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before?
Oh, look, no! Not once, never.
He never met the man before, he said. Never.
And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either?
That's right, sir. I just don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. No, I imagine not.
Gee, how many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have the remotest connection to the gentlemen who were in the cabin.
Excuse me.
Got something to say? Mr. McGilded?
Yes, counsel. What can I be doing you for?
Did the witness's last statement give you pause for something? Not the remotest connection? Is that right now? I wonder.
What are you insinuating now?
Ah, Mr. Fairplay. Has been too long, so it has.
Yeah?
If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date.
I beg your pardon?
You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir.
At an unconceivable rate of interest. You tricked me. It's extortion.
Well, now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? The sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fellow to pass his crimes off on another.
Ah!
Oh.
And young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want with me? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That there hat sliding out top of your head, is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, this is a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. It's a very distinctive touch. Customers, such as thrice-fired mace. Ah! There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence before, my lord.
Oh, it's the same design. Hello. Basically.
Oh, this you mean.
Oh, well.
I can't help thinking that the poor fella's hat looks distinctly familiar. Wouldn't you say? Oh! That's one of my hats.
Aye, that it is.
So it seemed that the brickmaker was a customer of yours.
Oh.
This sort of customer, I'd wager, would have had a wee quarrel over with the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh, no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case.
You little weasel. Ah!
He's better at this than I am.
Gosh, Mr. McGilded certainly has been through in his research, hasn't he? Thorough.
Something's not right.
Please, don't let my little interruption hold up the proceedings.
Oh yeah, couldn't possibly have opened it.
Hold it!
Are you quite certain about that? That's the skylight. That the skylight was shut the entire time?
I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute.
He's gonna lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said.
Take a look for yourself. Go on. See? It's shut fast now, just like it was on the night.
So it is. Of course, a fellow of the size of Mr. Mason could likely break through it. Still and all.
What?
Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand.
Huh? Now hold on a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. On its own, let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we?
Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind. Loudly. I shocked myself with it, as it perhaps...
Okay. No one asked for you to go that deep, bro. No one asked, bro.
This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just meant to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as rouge. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried.
Wait.
Tried.
That ain't.
When I was inside the cabin of shame.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Wow, okay, we're just getting into the thick of it, aren't we? Miss Lestrade!
It opens.
Hmm?
The skylight. That is what we're talking about, right?
Uh-oh. Put that thing away! Don't you dare!
All the skylights open, dead easy.
More easily than you can load that weapon?
That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, You can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh! Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out with me, yes. Miss Lestrade, this is not the form to be illusionating you're the subject of your criminal activities. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, it got
wise to make. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't hop off the bus and leg it. So what I did was, I used the skylight. Opened the catch and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch from the skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from the cabin. The skylight opens from the roof deck? Bailiff, climb up on the rooftop of the omnibus at once and verify the witness's claims.
It indeed opens!
Aha. Oh, my hat! See? See?
Wow, things are getting intense.
Order! 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 Go. It appears that the street girl's statement is quite true.
I don't believe it. The skylight opens. And from the roof deck...
Mr. Naruhodo, this could be the clue we've been looking for.
Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. So, the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate it for myself. Not sure the victim fell through the skylight. Where's your proof? I'm guessing this is what it is, huh? Well, the skylight was fastened shut before.
But now the catch has been undone. We shouldn't be able to open it.
You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure.
Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. So I'm sure the witness would have been able to see quite clearly.
That's not good for us. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. No. Stop, 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 stop. Alright, I guess we can't, like, point it out yet. Or am I not at the right angle? Alright, I guess I just can't mess with it yet. That's very interesting, though. Alright, let me try one more time. Alright, yeah, alright. Didn't work. So there is blood on it, huh?
Objection!
Well, that didn't work. Whoops. Sorry, Council, I failed to see the connection. Oh. And for the heaven's sake, would you kindly desist from that wide-eyed, panic-stricken look that you won't wear? It's the only panic-stricken look I know.
I wonder if these two men really were involved in some way.
I couldn't say. I mean, I don't really know anything about them, do I? Although, by the same token, I don't really know anything about Mr. McGilded either. It's so hard to know what to believe here.
I think we should try to remember that it's evidence alone that can truly determine the outcome of a trial.
Evidence.
No one can argue against decisive evidence, including the members of the jury.
So you're saying that what we need now is to find a conclusive piece of evidence.
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, precisely.
I see. Let me see if I can, like, do it again. Try to get the blood. I know for a fact that's part of the evidence. Ugh! How do I, like, position it right? You know? Because I have to get the blood. Do I have to do it from inside? Let's do it from inside. There we go.
Yes, that does look very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone like you through, certainly, Miss Naruhodo.
Why someone like me?
Ah!
Well, what is it?
Look! Look here! Look at this!
That's, without question,
Blood!
why would there be a bloodstain there?
Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it?
Alright, there we go. Now I got the correct... Alright. Now I can push that statement, or present it on that statement. Where's your proof? You want my proof?
Objection!
Right here. Now I can present the... Alright, I had the right idea, just didn't get it right. On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach. And immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight onto the cabin below. Those are the facts. And the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom.
What? That's utter humbug. You can't possibly have any evidence.
No, you can't!
I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof. Here, in this court. Count Shaw? Yes, my lord. I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here. Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You will point out to which that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight. Oh, I have to do it again? Okay. Right there, bro.
Got it!
Why, Jupiter! Is that blood? This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open.
What?
And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening.
Oh my!
And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime.
No!
Order! Order!
Hold it!
But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin.
And only found its way into that one particular spot in the skylight? Sure, and that would have been very convenient. And let's keep in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. And I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But, there's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? Just all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fella dropped from a fair height right there, so it is.
What? No!
But it can't be. It's all lies!
Hold it!
My fellow juror members, I think we can all agree that this is a clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we?
I believe we can, yes, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom.
So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? Oh, she's quickly typing.
I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it.
Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful pot couldn't have done such a thing.
On three, then. Everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Objection!
Oh, come on. Chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh, and what would you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zyke? A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight? Such evidence is null and void. What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
What? What are you talking about? It's there all for all to see. It's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety that no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began. But,
Are you suggesting, Lord Van Zyke, that this stain of blood was...
fabricated, my lord? Yes. And while the court has been in session... What? This is getting absolutely insane.
What a pavler. I must say, I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standard, Lord Van Zyke. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known for all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue like from the Reaper of the Bailey.
Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in many great affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? When you wield a fortune to seize of the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating a scene of the crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct this most convenient of stories, sir. Concoct. Lord Van Zyke. This will not do, to be sure. Will it now, counsel? Oh, no. I take it's fair to say, this all does sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood of the skylights doesn't exist, you say. But, if yous all will cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the world and his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, counsel? It's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time this court has been in session. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on the matter, in your own words. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during the trial? If you're asking me, I think it could have been possible, because of the smoke grenade. It could have been. I think. I really do think. Could have been, yeah. It could have been possible. I think. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best as I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility.
Oh,
Good gracious! Explain yourself, counsel! During the smoke grenade, of course. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nepalese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. The shade. I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly. The recess that we were forced to take? As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. Hey. I'm not gonna voice this part. Alright, maybe I will. What's going on?
be careful, Miss Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten, feckless garger? Feckless? Gogger? You're supposed to be defending me. 'Tis a wise, wicked plot. 'Tis a plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection!
Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies, such as... To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. I knew I wasn't losing my mind. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I have said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Unfortunately, your vengeance. No one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartments and skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say, we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord, no doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry?
About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus?
The blood on the floor, right?
I mean, the blood on the floor seems very...
Unnatural. There couldn't have been that big of a pool of blood if he... Yeah, I have an inkling. My lord. Yes, counsel. There is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. What? Why in the devil's name are... Oh, sorry. Why in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare betray me, you little maggot, you better start watching your back.
Objection!
Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification. This trial keeps swinging one way and then the other. I have no idea what the truth is and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here?
shall I have to ask you to... I shall have to ask you to elaborate, Counsel. Where exactly is this alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point in this trial? Has to be the mark on the floor. How do I... Oh, that, yeah.
The WASD.
Got it!
If we consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor in the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this bloodstain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus first brought into the courtroom. Also, I actually didn't look. Oh, Lord.
Yes, I do believe you're correct, Counsel.
Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine, or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. Uh-oh. Gilded is not happy. Oh boy, he is pissed.
This trial is over.
Mr. McGilded?
I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but... 'tis all over now.
But you're the defendant.
It is over, I tell you. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw. 'Tis all nonsense. Facts are what counts. And the fact is, the bloodstain is there. Now.
Well,
And over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Van Sykes. Well, my lord, I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence, and about the absence of any credible method of which to prove its alleged previous non-existence. I regret to say that would be improper for this trial to continue.
your lordship can't be serious.
Lord Van Sykes, what is your position?
The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present.
Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue of this matter, I shall proceed to my adjudication. As formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first.
What formality?
As things stand at the moment, it would seem Mr. McGilded would be found not guilty,
Yes.
which would mean we've won.
Is that really the right outcome here? Is that really alright? Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now? With all these unexplained inconsistencies?
Counsel for the defense, your closing statement, please.
Yes, my lord. The defense believes, and it could be guilty. I am here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience at least attest fully to the defendant's innocence.
What are you saying, man?
Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent.
Good gracious me! Order! Order! This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. A defense lawyer
calling the accuser's innocence into question. You sound of mind. What? Oh, 'twas a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was. A grand decision. What? I must say, I didn't expect quite an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Here, have this for your troubles. Ah. Your job here is done, fella. And some fine work you've done, so have you. What do you mean? 'Tis just the right honourable gentleman, so succinctly put it afore. The trial cannot go on any longer. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality. What?
I really don't know what to make of all this. Was the evidence we've seen genuine? Was it fake?
His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish would be disposed of properly, I said.
Mistaken rich are always guilty of something. You mark my words.
I'd be terribly ashamed if I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us lovely pork.
Now the proceedings have unfolded in this way. I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea.
I thank you kindly, my lord.
I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court.
Objection!
But we still haven't determined if the blood-stained omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth.
Your Vengeance. My lord, the case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection!
But wait! When we evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zykes ordered the evidence to be secured.
I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter.
That's so unfair.
The culpability of the defendant has not, at present time, been established in this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to pre-offer judgment. What?
Well, Lord Van Zykes, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as far as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense.
Do you mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time?
Just the law of the land, my good man. If you like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law.
Magnus McGilded.
Good grief, you've more to say to me, have you?
Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over.
Well, something to be looking forward to then. This guy is fucking guilty, and we got him innocent. Fuck!
I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded, not guilty.
Fuck! Wrong! Damn it! This is so wrong. I can't believe it! This is an outrage. They should have examined the evidence more. What are they talking about? The man's been cleared. He's innocent. Oh boy. With the courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. And my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty. Ostensibly a victory for us. Fuck. That's not how I thought this trial would go. This is... Wow. My head hurts. I don't know what to believe.
That certainly was a long trial.
Yes, it was.
Your first ever trial on foreign soil, and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations.
And to you, Mr. Sato. Thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened.
Well, we didn't have enough time.
But isn't that wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that.
The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection.
Aye, that you did.
Mr. McGill did?
Mr. McGill did. Ah, and that girl is with him too.
Well, it seems the stories are true.
Oh, what stories?
How about the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty? I'm sure you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say?
Yes, definitely.
I'd heard it was a sight to behold.
And to be sure it was. And I have you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything.
What on earth are you saying, fella? How did I walk out of there a free man, then?
I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning.
You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray there in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. Ah, 'tis water under the bridge.
Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared.
But nothing's resolved.
There's only one thing that matters to me.
Oh?
Aye. They've all seen that I didn't do the audacious and absent deed. 'Tis grand, is it not?
I suppose it is.
Now the fine fellas of Scotland Yard can take matters into hand and sort out any wee details. They'll see for it what it is. They'll get to the truth. I have absolute faith in them, so I have. After all, I do be providing a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay.
It's not that funny.
So then, as we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella.
Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much.
Oh, I'd be witched. You're a humble people, are you, from the east? Well, if you insist. But have this, still in all, you deserve a reward.
Mr. Magnus McGilded.
It's the bailiff.
Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom.
Into the courtroom?
What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe.
I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule.
Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection.
Sorry, what inspection?
They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself.
They're going to examine it again? Now?
Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing me best to help where I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, Fare thee well. 'Twas an absolute pleasure meeting yous. I hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain.
Son of a bitch! And there he goes. A free man. You're still here. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Hey, 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 put that gun away.
Don't move.
Whereas I want to say, get a move on. She really does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, do you mind putting that thing down?
You're a grown-up.
Sorry?
And I ain't all grown-ups.
Like 20.
Ah, there you are.
Hello? Who are you?
Naughty, naughty, running off like that.
I can't even get her voice. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this old girl now?
And take it there with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher.
Oh, what?
Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me.
Eh? Excuse me, but who are you?
Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine.
The inventor?
Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? Why, more why? If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it really is be a pretty color, I thought to myself.
Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all?
I just took my eyes off it for a moment whilst I was changing into a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with the telegraphic beacon.
What's it? What? I have no idea what this girl's talking about.
Anyway, you're coming with me now, back to my laboratory.
What? What for?
To apologize, of course, silly, to my technician.
What? You make... say sorry.
You must say sorry when you do something wrong. Shane, I don't have told you that before.
An adult? I don't listen to no adults.
Come along then, follow me.
Fine, have it your way.
Oh, good. You see, I knew you wanted to do the right thing in the end.
I'm fairly sure that what she wants is not to get shot by that massive gun of yours.
We'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss.
What the fuck happened? She was a lively one. What the actual fuck?
Well, do you think perhaps we have to be on our way now too?
Yes, you're right, but... where to?
Oh,
We haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All our traveling cases are still with the bailiff.
I was originally planning to spend today in search of lodgings.
But at this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck.
Don't worry though, I have a plan. If the worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night.
Please tell me you're not thinking of the Gilded Park.
I know it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through.
I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid just as easily as an elderly one.
Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable.
Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room. Or mansion. I mean, I have to pay him back. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead. Just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned, the case was far from over. Is that the end? Oh, cutscene.
What's going on? Get the fire brigade! Water! Bring water, quick! What the? How did this happen?
I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating. No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there.
This can't be.
What? No! Yeah, okay. Guess that's it. Yeah, I guess this video's also gone on for a bit too long. So, next time, we'll be doing the adventures of the clouded Koroko? Kokoro. 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 Yeah, Kokoro. Alright, so I guess we'll be doing the adventures of the Kokoro? Okay. I guess. Yeah, alright. I'm tired. I think I'm gonna take a break from recording today. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? What was that? Yeah, alright, well. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.